All right, you're now tuned into another episode of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, but a special edition on Fridays, 7 p.m. Financial Fridays, man. As you know, I'm the host, the owner of Hip Hop Uncensored, and sitting across from me is my co-host.
What up? What up? It's your man Sam, and CEO of Viral Hip Hop News. We're in the building this Friday. We used to do this a couple months ago.
Yeah, man.
Go live on Friday. We back in the building, doing it again with our brothers, Darren Marion, Rattel CEO, Rattel SEO, CEO,
Right, same thing.
Rattel SEO. You know what I'm saying? And our brother Khonsu, the God, CEO of Aboriginal Consultant out of Chicago, Illinois. Brothers, what's good, man?
What's happening, man?
What's happening, bro? What's good?
Peace. So if people are coming in the building today, man, go ahead and smash the like button no matter what platform you're listening on. These brothers are about to drop some real heavy information, man. So yeah, man, a lot of people know you guys already. They seen you. You know, we put a couple videos up with you brothers on it. But this COVID-19, the coronavirus, man, we want to kind of start the program with that because earlier today I seen that President Trump declared a national emergency. It's escalating from the time that we sat here last week or 2 weeks ago when we had our show. It's taking like wings at this point. So where are we at, brothers? I didn't get a chance to see you guys on yesterday. You know, I wanted to watch it, but I don't know where you guys stand now. So what's going on? COVID-19, man. Any one of you brothers can go first.
You want to go, Khonsu?
Go ahead, man.
All right, man. Well, yeah, man. COVID-19, man. I think it's something blown out of proportion, but it's a chance for manufacturing to come back to the United States, and we're seeing that now because President Trump is announcing just announced $50 billion to go for COVID supply. I think it's like a blank check. You know what they say happened in 2008. They call that the Great Recession in 2008. We about to, and it was a massive bank bailout. We see it COVID-19, 2020. We're about to see a massive biotech bailout. Massive. So all that biotech stuff, I mean, 92% of antibiotics are manufactured outside of the United States. They're manufactured in China. And when this first dropped, China said that they were going to cut off those antibiotics to us, man. That's a major national security problem. You know what I'm saying? Major.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People don't even think about that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, you know, I think we're dealing with an economic issue, dealing with a major economic issue because, in my assessment, we're dealing with an economic bubble. And this bubble, we need hyperinflation, at least according to the government. We need hyperinflation. And this hyperinflation is going to create a reevaluation of what we call money. We're going to be reevaluated. And what is wealth is going to shift a bit. Not much, but it will shift. So wealth is going to change. So with this whole virus thing, it is an opportunity to reevaluate money. And that's why our government is constantly printing up money at an alarming rate. We printed almost $1 trillion last month in money, yet we are trillions of dollars in debt. And this money has absolutely no intrinsic value. It is really only fiat currency. It is great for trade. People are still willing to trade for the US dollar, but that window is getting smaller and smaller. Now with this coronavirus happening, it is putting much more strain on the US dollar and of course, the world distribution of it, and not including inflation. Inflation is acting kind of, advantageous for us up front, but on the back end, our ability to have financial integration and width outside of height is going to be different. It's going to be different now. I'm not talking doomsday. I'm just telling you that wealth is going to shift because of this virus.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Explain that though, because how is wealth going to be, changed? Is it an opportunity for people to cash in, the everyday person, to now that people are now starting to buy these different products off the shelves like crazy? Is that where it is? Like how people should a person try to take advantage of this time if they are, financial savvy and whatnot, and want to invest some money?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it's a chance right now. When we say wealth, things are going to get a lot more efficient. So a lot more efficient. People who, if you were in a business where let's say you made like I looked at a thing last night on how to make hand sanitizer. Well, one of the main ingredients to make your own hand sanitizer is essential oils. Well, I know a lot of people that sell essential oils, so that's going to be a transfer of wealth from people who didn't have essential oils, people who needed them, to now purchase those things. With we are on the petrodollar, so when we see gas prices drop, we're going to see how the dollar is traded, overall. So gas prices drop here, somebody is winning on this other side. So the income, discretionary income, and that money is changing hands and going somewhere. Whose hands is going to? E-learning. My kids are now they now got 2 weeks extra off of school. Well, not really extra, but they're going now on e-school. So let's say if you have an online and e-learning platform, bam, that's a great chance to be on the other side of catching that other side of that wealth. Now, educational system, major educational system will be buying into the e-learning process to show they can work.
That's right. That's right. And when I say a shift, it's exactly what Darren is talking about. The reevaluation is we're not going to get rid of money completely. You hear this thing about money is going to be gone completely. Our economy is very strong. We had the Dow drop almost 5,000 points in the last week or so, and it bounced up 1,000. That's going to level out. We're not in that kind of danger. What I'm talking about is the ability to create wealth and perpetuate it. What I'm talking about is investing. Your rate of investment versus or juxtaposed to your rate of return. So that means knowing how to hedge the hyperinflation, knowing how to hedge it. That means going and diversifying your portfolio, just like Brother Darren is talking about. Even when it is talking about taking advantage of a scarce source like hand sanitizer, taking advantage of that, because in economics it's all about scarcity, and we have the ability at an independent rate to take advantage of the scarce source. And when doing that, we can diversify our financial portfolio. Blockchain, it's going to be great to invest in blockchain right now. The currencies are discretionary, but that blockchain technology is something to really, really look into. And it's a strong thing. When we talk about the stocks, we talk about options, we talk about put options and insurance and bonding. It is a great time to get a discount on those type of option stocks. So if you're just financially astute, you're able to see the trend and the flow and the necessary need for these kind of things to happen. This is what makes economics flow. It's what makes society run. So it's really a great opportunity to attach oneself to wealth, and not including real estate. Real estate has always been consistent. They call it a real estate crash, but that's a whole nother show. That's really dealing with fair market value and literally the public's opinion of what's valuable in real estate. But real estate is a great investment as well.
I want to dig into the stock question a little more, because I know we were all talking privately, and when all this went down, I asked Darren, I was like, well, what goes up must come down, and the stock market is down right now, but it has to come back up, right? So how can people who aren't, let's say, wealthy become wealthy in a situation where we're seeing, I don't want to say mass chaos, but you're seeing the general public go to stores and buy them out, toilet paper's gone and all this nonsense is going on. But for people that can kind of read between the lines like we're doing right now, what are some of the smart things to invest in? How can somebody in our positions become millionaires out of this situation? Is it a way, and how is it? How can we do so?
Yeah, think 6 months ahead. Think 6 months. What things are going to look like 6 months from now? When we say when the toilet paper, when the shortages and all that stuff, when everything re-ups, what does the world look like 6 months from now? When we look, like I said, in order to make your own hand sanitizer, you need essential oils. Well, getting into a thing with selling essential oils is it's a low barrier entry. Get in there, make your own hand sanitizer. It's not highly regulated. Sell that. Websites. Build a. And we actually have a website that's going to be going up in the next few days that's going to address pandemics. So pandemic kits. So, because it's not going to be the only one that we're going to have, right? So that. So that's when you start to stock up, and you can actually start to sell that stuff. Now you have a pandemic readiness kit. That's something else. That's another way to gain that wealth. Now, if you end up playing the stock market, there's a whole nother set of rules that's available to you. And if y'all want to talk about it, I'll be more than happy to. But yeah,
Go in.
Okay. All right. So like we talked about last night, and we talked about a couple times is with options. You have puts and calls, put option and call options. Those are both insurance policies that are their insurance policies on a specific price. Now we have you can buy an insurance policy on a specific industry or a sector. So like right now, something I'm looking at, and it's just me I'm looking at, is I'm looking at biotech. Right now, when President Trump said he's going to put $50 billion into biotech and into, what he announced today, they've already come up with a major corporation, have all worked together to come up with with testing right there. You know what I'm saying? That money is going into testing. That money is going into biotech. What are those companies that are going to be doing that testing? What are those companies going to look like? Then you could go a dollar cost average buy into those companies using like Share Builder, Share Sale, and that lets you buy in a little bit at a time. But if you want to really look at it kind of the longer play and how you could get in it, you're always going to make more money when you're selling a good as opposed to buying a good. So look to what goods you can sell. Look to what's short now, man, and write this shit down, man, and then take advantage of it. 6 months from now, that's when you play the long game, man. Sam, you work out, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't start working out and expect it out in the mark. You got to plan what's your workout going to look like from going forward, man.
Exactly. That's smart.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the hysteria that's going on today, because you see. That's to bring it kind of down to the, that's like boss talk right there. You know what I mean? But to the everyday people now who are running to the stores, getting the toilet tissue, things are getting shut down now. Gyms are shutting down. People ain't working no more. What is this going to mean to the everyday person that ain't got the money for the stocks, that ain't talking about flipping money, but just living paycheck to paycheck? How far is this going to go? How far do you two envision this going? Are they going to make it to where it's martial law? Where are we headed? Or is just something that's going to just disappear in the next couple of weeks?
I think it's got a 4-week run, man. 4-week run, because last night we did a thing on it, man. And we talked, we found that it's got a 2.4% mortality rate, man. It's got a 2-week incubation period. MERS had what, 20% mortality rate. SARS had 30%. Ebola had 40%. All those hit the American shores. None of that hysteria was out here for that. So there you go, man.
Yeah,
people can't catch it either.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things. There's no attention paid to it. A lot of times, the public is at the mercy of media. So outlets like this, that you may have experts that have the ability to kind of break a lot of things down. We're able to, explain that the economic system is a flowing system. It's almost a self-living entity at this point. So when you have these pandemics and stuff like that, these are assumptions. So the government makes assumptions based on an isolated set of criteria. So they go above and beyond. So if they're saying a 4 to 6 week is probably a 3 to 5 week. That's generally how that works. So you just have to, those are the common person, do what you normally do. I mean, be hygienic. That's what you need to be. You don't have to change what you're already doing every single day. You have to use your common sense. This is an airborne pandemic. This is an airborne. We're not talking about something that's in your water, okay? That's a critical mass resource. We're talking about an airborne disease. How do you dodge air? You don't. So you have to, boost your immune system, stay aware, and understand the actual potential of threat. This coronavirus, this is the year 19 coronavirus that we're talking about. This virus is over 20 plus years old. We've been subject to it for many years. Fortunately, our immune systems are miraculous things. So we can't get caught up in a lot of the hoopla around it. Yes, it's real, but it's affecting the social economic platform, and that's why it's getting much attention. Things like the NBA shutting down, airline tickets, selling gas at an incredible rate, because what people don't realize, when you book a flight, you're purchasing fuel. It's not the airplane. It's the fuel you're paying for. The fuel is very expensive to go into a jet engine. So fuel is at an alarming rate. It's very low, and it's a great time to take advantage of those things. So don't worry yourself.
Let me ask you guys about this. Now, we talked a couple of times, God and I, about, all right, what does this mean for us and what does this mean for the future, right? And it seems like they're kind of playing a game like, all right, this is a game of chess and we're going to see how far we can go in this game to set it up for the future, like you were kind of alluding to with stocks, Darren. Do I have any credibility when I say that this may be something that they're playing along the line, and maybe in our generation or our kids or our grandkids' generation, we may see something potentially of a lockdown to where everything's shut down, government controlled, and they're just kind of testing the boundaries now with this, because like you said, Khonsu, this shit's been around for 2-3 decades. It's on the Lysol cans, been on the Lysol cans since Lysol cans been out. This isn't nothing new. We were just doing research in here, and there's multiple strands of it, and people aren't getting the strand that's out here banging people out. They're getting the other one. So it's just a bunch of smoke and mirrors going on. So, for lack of a better term, are they testing us? Are they messing with us, bro?
I don't think so, man. I mean, if anything, they mess with what the market looks like. With how a friend of mine, he's probably watching right now, man. He was talking about what private insurance looks like, private versus public insurance, and private versus public health care. Right now with Italy, one of the main problems that Italy has that government shutdown is they've only been investing 1% over the past 8 years, a 1% increase in their budget in healthcare over the past 8 years. Inflation runs anywhere from 3 to 5%. So every year they're spending less and less and less until they get negative return rates on how much you're spending on healthcare. Whereas, we have a private / public healthcare system. One of the main issues that happens with this disease, and what really is, it's a strain on the public system. If someone comes in with a gunshot or comes in with some sort of bacterial infection, they may not get the scene as quickly as they need to be seen. So that's gonna open up a whole new market for what healthcare looks like. So I don't think it's a massive thing for a massive government shutdown. I think this is a show that how private industry can step in and make things a lot more efficient and make things happen a lot more quickly than what has happened. I mean, even New York, for instance, the state of New York, they came out with their own hand sanitizer. It's got 75%. It's 75% more alcohol. So it's got 75% alcohol. Purell has a 60% alcohol rate. So it's got 75% alcohol. They're making it at 85 cents for a bottle like this big. Bottle is 85 cents.
Wow.
This right here is $1.85 at Walmart.
Right.
Now we're showing how the government is coming in and they're getting involved in private industry, man. So I think whenever you have privatization of anything, almost nearly anything, things get a lot more efficient, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you brothers, I think it's a good time to transition, into this the presidential race. I want to get you guys' opinion on that, because you got Joe Biden, who's now winning, Bernie Sanders, and pretty much Trump. That's what's between right now. For us, for minorities and other people, who will be your guys' choice right now? Who are you guys leaning toward to say, all right, I'm kind of want to get behind this guy. I want to keep Trump in, but no, Bernie Sanders is kind of my guy. Or you know what? Let me put Biden in there. Where you guys at with that?
Well, I'd have to say that I'm pushing for Trump. I've been pushing for Trump since he got in. I don't see any democratic process of including the government in my business. I don't want to be taxed, and I don't want to disperse my wealth against my free will. Trump, and it's showing now with the ability to privatize our revenue and disperse it at our rate. We are a republic. As a constitution on its face, we are a republic. We're not acting as one now because we kind of taken a laissez-faire approach where we said we really don't want the state involved, but we want the state to babysit us and take care of us. And there's a flip side to that. You give up your power when you do that. So the people lose their power in a quasi laissez-faire government that's called democratic. A lot of the time, it's really the perception of the parties being different, but we're talking about the movement of the Senate and Congress. And that's very important that we maintain our power structure. It's very important that we have things like ADOS in place and reparations and things of that nature. It's very important, and we're shifting to that period. And I think that Trump is the best representative of that and the type of president we need in this day and time. I'm not putting Trump as one of the greatest presidents ever, but he's needed in this particular juncture in history. He's needed right now.
All right, I know what you're gonna say, Darren, but go ahead.
Yeah, you know, to quote my mom, for such a time as this, you know, really, man, right now we need Trump is the alpha. He's the alpha male, you know, and he's gonna come in and he's gonna make sure that things get done. He's coming in, he's making sure that private industry is going to work well with government as well as they can work with government to make sure things get done. Look how fast they were talking about. They couldn't come up with any sort of like testing. It was going to take months and months and months for the CDC to come up with its test. Now all of a sudden they announced today that next week they're going to have mass testing. Roche and Pfizer and all these people are going to work together to create these tests. And they're going to be deploying them out to Walmart and Walgreens and all these other places so people will be able to get tested quickly. Come on, man. That couldn't have happened. I don't think that could have happened under Obama, man.
Right.
I really don't, man. He wants to, Obama or people, certain presidents and certain leaders want to manage via consensus. Trump is not that kind of president. And once you know and understand and respect that, then you know how to move within the Trump administration. If everybody else is moving like that, then that's kind of where you need to be moving as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, brothers, we had a great discussion a couple of weeks ago about this whole thing, and I dropped something on Viral Hip Hop News. Shout out to the people that watched that. Shout out to the people who subscribed. And I had some great dialogue, and I want to read one of the comments that came in about the conversation. It said, Viral Hip Hop News, much respect. I understand that dialogue is important, but there should be no discussion about a man who has to pay the same black folk to perform behind him at rallies. We know what he's about, and any black man that can't decide whether or not to support any man that is clearly against them is already lost. I know it's hard to support any one of them, but there are pictures anyone can search of Bernie Sanders handcuffing himself to a black woman decades ago during a civil rights event, telling the police, if you take her, you have to take me. If he was willing to march beside us at the time when he'd be killed, for it, right along with us, I believe discussing his actions is more vulnerable at this point in time than discussing someone whose actions are already well known to us. I can see you dying in my peripheral, Darren. You fucking distract me. People say,
man, damn, it's so funny though, man.
I'm almost done. People say no candidate has a black agenda. Well, there's only one candidate that has displayed his willingness to die in the street with us. And I think that action alone, whether in the 60s or today, deserves more of a discussion than a man like Donald Trump. His agenda is, or at least was, to further our agenda. If it's between him and the rest, I'd rather have a discussion about the man who was out there with our grandparents. Shout out to Grow Green. This was a week ago. Bernie, I was thinking that we would be together, and if we had this political conversation, I'd bring this up to you, brothers. Your rebuttal is, please, the floor is yours.
Go ahead, Darren.
Yeah, we say somebody's out there ready to die in the streets, man. I don't know nobody ready to die in the streets, man. I want somebody to be in the boardroom ready to make a decision. That's what's most important. You know, you could be, ready to die in the streets all you want, man. You could be handcuffing yourself, but really, there's nothing you can do because unless somebody says, "All right, stop locking these people up," then that's what matters. When you apply pressure at the head and not the tail, that's when you can make it. That's when you make movement. As long as we willing to say, you know what, I'm gonna lock myself up on, and I'm willing to go to jail for a cause, then yeah, they'll keep locking you up. They don't care about that, man. But when you're ready to say, all right, I'm not gonna buy this place, or I'm only gonna buy with this place, or I'm only gonna take advantage of these tax breaks, or I need these tax breaks for my business, then that's when you can actually make an effective change. So unless somebody's willing to do that, then I'm not. I mean, they don't have that. I have no drip for them, man.
Yeah, I agree. The revolution is different now. My uncle used to tell me, revolutionary will without revolutionary skill gets a revolutionary kill. And we've already had and gone through the motion of civil rights. And we're continuing to do that, but now it's about humane rights. We're talking about being treated as equal as human beings. So we have to change the polarity of racism and white fragility in America. That's shifting now. That's a big shift because America was always about the human experience. And so as the our Black people, and rightfully so, we have to hold a discriminatory view of the European people in this country. We have to do that. We've gone through almost 400 years of white supremacy, and we've dealt with this, but we're resilient enough to still be here. And so we need that revolutionary sitting in the judge's robe, with a judge's robe on. We need that revolutionary working in Congress. We need that revolutionary teaching our children in school and driving those school buses. So we got to still maintain the ebb and flow of conscious revolutionary action, and not just, oh, well, I saw Bernie Sanders with a great picture of a handcuffed to. That's a consolation prize. That has nothing to do with our movement. And our movement is about being progressive and adding value to your communities and your neighborhoods. So it's time now that we get behind, get in these boardrooms, start owning things, start manufacturing and producing things, because the system is designed for us to do that. We just have to be willing to do that. And that, it's pretty prevalent. It's pretty plain and simple. And so the opportunity is there. It's our turn to write history. We're in the midst of history. We're in the change in the way that we do things on a day-to-day basis. And we are literally writing history right now. 300 years from now, they're going to be talking about how amazing this thing is. The jump in technology is unheard of. Technology is at an all-time high. Technology is writing science now. Scientists are looking at technology to gain knowledge and understanding. So we're on a whole different level right now. Imagine if Malcolm X had Facebook, YouTube. Just imagine. It's on a whole nother level. We are accessing millions of people in milliseconds. So this is a totally different situation that we're dealing with.
Absolutely, Khonsu. Before we continue on, I want you to drop your email. A lot of people, and you too, Darren, were asking for both of you brothers' information. They always ask. So you could drop it in the chat room and, on the video, so that people can, if they want to get in touch with you guys as well. You know what I mean? As we transition to the next phase, man. Definitely. So go ahead, give your email, Khonsu, real quick.
Sure. It's Albert Higgins. That's Albert Higgins, Higgins, as in Sam, 19 at gmail.com. So that's Albert Higgins 19 at gmail.com.
You said that's so professional. You had me dying over here.
Yes, sir. I'm watching and listening to you guys.
Yeah, but this is a good opportunity, I guess, for you guys to kind of advertise a little bit of what you do and how the people listening to the program could benefit from what you guys do, man. I have to give you open a platform up for that for you guys.
Go ahead, Darren, with your email.
Right on. It's Darren, that's DARRIN, at Blurred Planet. Blurred is a black nerd. BLERD planet.com. Darren at blurredplanet.com. And then Retail SEO is we help businesses get found on the internet. So if you want to get found on the internet, want to set up an e-commerce site, you want to do things like that, then you just go to Retail SEO. That's Darren at retailseo.com. So or type in Indiana SEO, we show up number 1. So
yeah.
Also, blurredplanet.com, Khonsu at blurredplanet.com. You can also reach me there, Blurred Planet, Khonsu at blurredplanet.com.
Dope. Let's transition a little bit, man. Let's talk some hip hop. First off, where I want to start. Let's start with since we're on coronavirus real quick, the effects on hip hop and the coronavirus. A lot of people are not touring. A lot of people are losing money. Do you see this as a substantial effect real quick on the state of hip hop? How do you see hip hop being affected by this, both of you guys?
This is a wonderful chance for hip hop to become a lot more efficient, like everything else, man. So imagine right now, if you could pay to get online, pay to go see a concert, right here, stream the concert on YouTube. Now everybody can see a concert. Now it's open up to everyone. Now your audience is expanded a millionfold. Things have become a lot more efficient, man, a lot more efficient. Now it's, if I'm a promoter, it's now about a matter of me promoting my website and having to make sure my website can handle the bandwidth to be able to handle a show. Then I can use search engine optimization to promote a show, get my, run my YouTube ads or my Google ads or my Facebook ads, stream that information out there. Now I can get people to show up and do a pay-per-view for my audience. Hip hop, right there.
So
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, D, because if everyone's not paying attention, Liar Cohen is getting ready to do just that. It's not a coincidence that he is head of operations with YouTube. It's not a coincidence that YouTube has started a streaming video service that streams, privately. That's not a coincidence. So, Brother Darren is absolutely correct. That's where that's going. That's where that's headed. It's immense. The payment opportunities, the financial opportunities for these artists are just incredible now, because the ad sponsorship is what powers YouTube. YouTube is an advertising company that exploits independent vlogging. Same thing with Facebook and any other social media application. And the application is the search bar. And that search bar is the doorway to unlimited potential. Similar to what Brother Darren is expert at with retail SEO. Myself, with Aboriginal Consulting, I'm an expert at business startups and business infrastructure, knowing how to start your businesses, protect them. Risk management and loss management is, the priority with my company. We try to make sure you know how to not only create your business plan, but also scale your business properly and be able to have a perspective of success over a period of time. Because I'm the same way as most independent startup companies. We do not believe in self-employment. That is nothing but you owning a job and being a slave to your dream. No, we're all about employing people. That's when you're changing your community and the people around you. You can employ them and aid in the benefit of their homes by paying them. It's an honorable thing to do, if you ask me. So that's what we do. That's what I do, and I definitely agree with Darren. He's definitely on point with the.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about how, when YouTube got rid of the Google Hangout, and I was telling Sam Ant the other day how we all use StreamYard now. It was opportunity for them, like when YouTube was getting rid of that service, for them to slide their way in. And I heard the guy who always does the infomercials for StreamYard, he said, like, we went from just a few thousand to a few 100,000 subscriptions after that. So I think the importance is, anytime there's a catastrophe or a disaster, there's an opportunity in that. You know what I mean? And on closing, before we get you brothers out of here, and I want you guys to talk about the importance of entrepreneurship, especially in the Black community now moving forward.
What you just said, oh man, that's capitalism. That's the exact definition of capitalism. When things, when the fire burns everything down, you got to have somebody come in. You're gonna pay somebody to come clean up the mess. That's capitalism, man. So look 6 months from now what the long play is. What businesses are short on something now, because it's not going to be the first. It's not going to be the last time they're going to be short. This isn't going to be the last time something like this happens. So look for 6 months from now, and then start to just play your position then, man.
Yes, exactly. Capitalism gets a bad rap because it is blurred. The lines are blurred, and it is the best time to be a capitalist. It is the best time to do that, to capitalize on private industry and free market. It is very important to do that. And like Darren is saying, target the demand with the supply. Supply the demand. Like hand sanitizers, feed that demand. You can start on a small level. You can fractionalize the demand. And then as you grow, you move you're venture capitalist. You move into other ventures that are demanding of your capital. And that's very important. So venture capitalism and dealing in those type of things, angel investors, angel investing, is really, really big right now. And that's what embodies entrepreneurship, is that you pay people for their time. That's a true entrepreneur. You're paying people for their time. And in return, you get revenue. And you have more time to build and expand your business. Not necessarily operating your business, but still owning it as it operates itself. It's all about automate, delegate, and eliminate. This is how you scale a business and move it forward beyond, let's say, today with proper business scale.
Absolutely, man. Financial Fridays each and every week at 7 p.m. We'll be on with these two brothers. We're going to actually try to open up a phone line too the next time and keep things pushing. But before we get out of here, I'm going to open up the microphone for Sam, man, if you have any more questions before we get up out of here.
I got one quick question. I'm not going to hold you brothers long for Khonsu. Now, Meg Thee Stallion, who was in her legal battle today with 1501 Entertainment, the restraining order that she had previously was expiring the 16th. The judge extended it. Now, the arbitration is being pushed back by Carl Crawford, who on Wednesday filed a motion attempting to compel Megan to have the case decided by a single arbitrator. His argument is that Meg Thee Stallion's contract with him calls for all disputes about the contract to be settled that way. Megan's legal team in response argued that the clause was voluntary, not mandatory. Real quick, Khonsu, break down some of this legal mumbo jumbo we hearing, non-emotion, all facts like you do best. Let us know what's going on with this situation.
Megan is bitten off more than she can chew. And it's not 1501's fault at all. She knew very well, much so, that she was being exploited. She knew that. You're a musical artist, and this person is investing money to distribute you worldwide. And then all of a sudden now you lose the memory of the fact that you were using your masters and everything else as leverage. Because all of you took a shot. You might become famous and you might not. However, the upfront money was already spent. Megan didn't spend any of her money to become famous. And Megan Thee Stallion, she didn't do that. 1501 did. And I think that at the end of the day, she should obligate her contract. I understand that these contracts are not fair. But how many times, I think we talked about this with the 360 deal. How many artists know this and still run to labels? They know it, but they say, you know what, I'm going to be different. Or you know what, I'm smarter than everyone else. Or you know what, all I'm concerned with is my music. No, this is a business. It's the music business. Have you set up your LLC? Have you set up your board? Do you have all the necessary steps in place to limit your liability? Do you have your LLEs in place? Do you have a holding company in place to hold and protect your assets? If she would have had a holding company in place, this wouldn't even been happening. If she would have had, our publishing would have been protected had she not been willing to give it up for a gamble. It worked. She got lucky. Becoming a music, let me make this clear. Becoming a star in music is more rare than making it to the NBA. I want everybody to know that. Because you have to be a successful musician already makes money. She could have easily worked. Usually the work shift for a musician is Wednesday night to Sunday morning. Generally $300 to $400 a night when you are popping. When you're traveling, you're going to these small venues, you'll get anywhere from $300 to $400 a night. But you're making $3,000 a week. Mm-hmm. That's pretty doggone good. Okay? So now, flip that. You're a professional at the same time. Now you have a marketing company behind you pushing this engine. So now you got promoters, you got advertising agencies like radio stations, YouTube, Instagram, you got all this stuff. You got ads buying into your hype. Well, you're making money 10 times what you're making. If you don't have that team in place, you will be exploited in a negative way. You're not an overnight sensation. There's no overnight sensation in the music business. It's a calculated risk. It's not a risk. It's a calculated risk. There's a big difference. And unfortunately for Megan, I can only implore her as, hey man, good luck, keep hanging in there, keep your music going. But she signed the contract and she knew it. Come on, man. She knew it. She knew what she was getting into.
What do you see Rock Nation now? I know we talked about it briefly, but for the people who didn't, see the last episode that we did, Rock Nation, are they dirty in this? Are they being sleazeballish in this as well? Because it's almost like we talked about, they kind of coerced her to move this way, and they got, the injunction in court for her to put out her music. But the music, like Sandman said, when you look on Tidal, still says 1501 Entertainment under the music she's putting out. So Rock Nation, where do they stand, Khonsu? Let's reiterate that again for the people.
Rock Nation is a management company. So their job is to exploit her opportunities, to open and create opportunities for her to take advantage of. Now, Rock Nation is a conglomerate. So understand that Rock Nation has a vested interest in 1501, maintaining that relationship as well for future endeavors with 1501. That's called an S corp. So you have a company that is annexed with an S corp, and they fill out an LLP. They got an LLP going on. They got a limited partnership somewhere in this deal. So Rock Nation is looking out for Megan's best interest while maintaining her integrity, because she has to maintain her business integrity. If not, what other conglomerate is going to put money behind her if they know she'll up and bounce on them? No one else. She does not have the revenue to fund a world tour. She doesn't have the influence to pull Coca-Cola in, Pepsi. She doesn't have the influence she can't influence Universal. She's not going to influence Clear Channel. She's not going to do that. It takes money to move money. So in order to do that, Rock Nation is doing a fantastic job, because Rock Nation has a brand, and it's saturated, it's static. It's in other areas of the genre of music. So she has a really great management company. She has to operate as an independent contractor and keep that mentality. She is an independent contractor, and she has to promote her brand. She needs a Darren. She needs a Retail. Shameless plug, but she does. Mm-hmm. She needs to perpetuate her own brand in collusion with Rock Nation, as Rock Nation is doing that, because Rock Nation is creating opportunities for her.
Absolutely, man. Do not hesitate to smash them like buttons. If you want to get in contact with any one of these brothers, if you scroll up, you can see in the email that they left, or in the chat, I should say, they left their emails, for you guys. We'll also leave it in the description box of this video for anybody who wants to get in touch with these brothers, because they got services, like you said, the SEO services, which people don't know. He does it for what we do here. Brother Darren does SEO for us, does a great job at that. Khonsu, works with us behind the scenes, financially, some things. So, yeah, man, exciting program again. Yeah. We know this is kind of unorthodox, but I see that the people really enjoy this Financial Friday that we got going on over here, man.
Yeah, man, we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep coming with the real information, truth, like we do, man. Yeah. The real people appreciate it. No nonsense over here. We're going to enjoy ourselves and give them the right information, man. Salute to you, brothers, man. Before we get out of here, before y'all get out of here, get that plug one more time for both of y'all, man. Where can they find you?
Yes, sir.
Darren at blurredplanet.com, man. Darren at blurredplanet.com, or Retail SEO. Darren at Retail SEO.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Khonsu at blurredplanet.com. KHONSSNSTU. Khonsu at blurredplanet.com. Albert Higgins 19 at gmail.com.
Absolutely. Well, another episode, man, of the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast is in the books. Financial Fridays, man. Hey, on the way out, man, smash the like button. Do not forget to share this episode with a friend, especially what's going on right now in the world. You want to get this information, out to as many people as possible. I want to give a shout out quickly to Hanlon Jones, Miss Brown Eyes in the chat room, and my man Ace locking it down. In the chat room with the handles, doing their thing, man, regulating everything down there. So, yeah, man, we getting it in today, Sam, man. That's all I got on this side, bro.
Yeah, man, give a special shout out to the artist behind the artwork, man. Incredible artwork. You see Foulmouth Angel. Go follow him on IG at Foulmouth Angel. You can also find him on YouTube at Foulmouth Angel TV. Yeah. But follow that brother now. Shout out to the brother you don't see actually behind the scenes. Yeah. Our incredible intern, Victor Intern, who's been holding the camera and doing this thing. In here doing some incredible work for us, getting us interviews, getting us schedules. He's doing the damn thing, man. 21 years old, been taking notes the entire show. He's really in here doing this thing, man. So we appreciate each and every one of y'all. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but you may see us for episode tomorrow. You never know, because we own the goddamn building here at the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast, man. That's all I got to say, man. Viral hip hop news Whole God Hip Hop News Uncensored, brother Khonsu, Aboriginal Consulting, Darren, Rattel SEO, our brother.
That team, baby.
What up, Vic? You on, baby? What's up, bro?
Victor in turn. Victor in turn.
There it is, Victor Intern.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Holding the camera, man.
Yes, sir. So, yeah, man, y'all have a good night, man. We appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace out.